Hey guys, Trevor H here. Welcome to another episode of the Who Are We podcast. Today I've got a special guest, Brian M Jacobsen. How are you today, Brian?
Thanks very much, Trevor. I'm doing great. Flowing.
Thanks very much for joining us. Just before we get going, we'll just do a bit of disclosure. This episode's been recorded. We're going to publish it onto YouTube in the Who Are We podcast and provide some promotional links on different social medias like LinkedIn, just for promotional purposes. The idea being we're just trying to get people talking about who they are and what they stand for, just to try and get people thinking about their identity and where they fit in the world. Obviously, main goals trying to help with domestic violence, trying to help with youth crime and suicide are big issues here in Australia. So I feel that talking about who we are and what we stand for might help other people, encourage other people to explore who they are and hopefully create better outcomes in the world. But basically just connecting and having a bit of fun and nothing too serious. I've got a dog here.
Awesome. Yeah, he likes it. He's enjoying. I like it.
yeah. She's got a care now. I think she wants to play. But anyway, moving forward, we'll get straight into it. Hey, and I'll just say, okay, so who is Brian M Jacobsen and what does he stand for?
Yeah. So basically, that question is quite interesting because I asked myself a lot of times, who am I really, when it comes down to it? And I've never been able to pinpoint exactly who I am. But I've noticed something, and that is I love to bring my essence. I love to bring the joy that I have in this moment to life in whatever form or shape it takes. Sometimes it's through my training. So I love the passion for me that's happening is training, both weights, both moving the body, having fun with it, the calm, to bring also peace into it. And I really love to bring that peace into as much as possible for what it is that I engage with. Peace, joy, the passion, and really not capturing the moment, but stay present.
Staying present. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm hearing that you really like to embrace yourself and your own essence of self.
And self actually includes also whatever it is I have to offer and bring to the world. So wherever I go, for me, a smile is a great way to bring on to people one way or another. If I see someone who has been working the whole day, I'm out shopping and he seems a little bit, on autopilot, because the society here in Denmark can get a little bit on autopilot, 8 hours a day. I don't work 8 hours a day, by the way. Not at all. Maybe I work 9 or 11 hours per week, more steadily. Yeah. Yes, that's more like it. But when I see someone like that, it seems my essence want to bring them just a wake-up call, like, hey, we're here. It's now, right? There's no tomorrow, really. And joy and love is of essence of me.
Yeah. Okay.
So that sprouts.
So giving people positive vibes and positive feelings, bringing them into the present, because that's interesting that you should say that, because that's one of the mental health things that we talk about, is not worrying about too much about the future. That sort of like brings on anxiety or whatever, and they associate.
And it has to, by the way. Actually, it's good that worry brings on anxiety. It has to, right?
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, and thinking about what's happened in the past, and dwelling on the past, they generally associate with depression. So staying in the here and the now and appreciating things is a very, very good motto to stand for. And it's great that you're doing that, because sometimes it's easy to just be in the moment for yourself, but when you see other people down, you're commenting that you make a big effort to try and smile at them or try and break their monogamous their routine or whatever it is they're doing, and trying to bring a bit of joy into people's lives. You said training and weights is a big part of who you are.
Well, I do it, But actually,
Yeah.
I'm only doing it a couple of times a week. So a few times a week, I'm down at the gym, and I enjoy that space there. It's we call it water and wellness here in Denmark. It's a water and wellness gym where you have the practice part, and you have saunas, and you have some cold showering and so forth.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that space because many different kind of people, they show up there, and we all sharing some of our essence. We're not pretending to be someone. We have to deal with whatever this body, what it looks like, the mindset that we have had the past 10 years. Everyone can see it, right? It shows up on us. And I like that space, meeting up of interest with other people as well, even though I like to be focused when I do my training.
It sounds like just being around people and being sincere and true to who you are, and living that life is important to your lifestyle, and trying to associate with other people of similar sort of purpose, I suppose, helps, and that gym environment does that for you.
So training was a big part of my life, even early on, because my father trained a lot. So for me, it felt like natural that this body feels great when I do training with it. It likes the short-term, high-intensity training, and then come back down into rest. And I have had different aspects of the training, and right now what I really enjoy is I do what I love. Whatever I'm curious about in the training, if it's developing something in the body or finding a certain flow in it or balance or whatever it is that I bring to my training, that's what I enjoy about it. And right now it's mainly love, and also the ability to remain calm and not get attached to the picture, because I've done that in the past, the picture of how the body should look like, and instead of accepting how actually is it all working out. And what fascinates me is that everyone is there for some different purpose. Everyone is different, and for me the essence and the curiosity is I hold something in mind, and the space that's needed for me to explore it kind of shows up.
That's amazing. So that curiosity to doing stuff, or to the reasons behind some of the things that's come up, that's been a pretty common theme in the podcast. Do you feel that living with that sort of sense of curiosity helps? Because part of your goal you mentioned was, or focus is staying calm and staying relaxed is something that you're working on at the moment. Does that sense of curiosity and trying to understand why things are happening, or reasons behind things, helps with that calmness that you're trying to develop?
So I've discovered that calmness is actually present all the time. It never leaves me. It's my natural state. The only way calmness is not there if I believe something that is not true to myself. Then calmness goes away, like believing I have to do something that I wouldn't like, or etc. And it's all in the mind, right? So your question, just to turn back to it, I'm really curious of what's happening for us right here, right now, when we're just present. We're not trying to become someone. We're not trying to do something. We're not trying to change anything. Just what's actually happening here naturally. And get familiar with it. And see what is it that really is me, and what is something that is made up, kind of. And that exploration, I like the natural flow that happens, so very spontaneous. So I trust, and started to trust, when I get excited about something, or it could be training, it could be a meeting with someone, or it could be an idea that I want to write down, or whatever it is, I allow that inspiration to be followed up on. And training is still popping up naturally, spontaneously every time. Like, ooh, the body feels like this. Okay. I do yoga. I do some yoga practices. Yoga, the yoga science has come to my life in about 2011. Was introduced to me. which is a system of practices that at first I thought was giving me peace and giving me the ability to be tranquil in the world and engage with whatever is happening now in a new way. And now I see it more like that the yoga practices is actually natural ways that spontaneously happen when we really listen into our system.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And have that trust in ourselves, I suppose, like you mentioned before, trusting your thoughts and trusting, your body is.
I don't trust my
you
thoughts. My thoughts, I don't trust.
Your body.
No,
Okay.
no.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
and I don't trust it. I mean, my faith lies in that I am creating a relationship with what's going on here and now.
Yep.
Yeah. And the more I tune into a embracing, thankful, loving state,
Yep.
which actually is happening quite naturally when we relax. It's like we're not trying to push anything away. We're just with whatever is here.
Yeah.
So love and peace and joy is my natural state.
Yeah. Appreciation you just mentioned before. So appreciating.
That happens naturally when we relax.
Relax. Yeah. So is that for like the air that you breathe to be appreciated, that the sun come up today, or appreciation that you're alive, or there's blood in your veins?
And that's the natural part, probably, to put things on it.
Yeah.
But I try not to mention it and just stay in the presence of it.
Yeah,
and see what naturally flows from it. But we can easily, the sun just shined out when you said it, yeah? And of course, but I can see, wow, what's going on when simply things happening and I am relaxed in it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's cool.
And what I have been dealing with a lot, which helped me actually to bring me to this present moment, is the ability or the idea that if I do this and do this and do this, then I will be happy.
Yeah.
And that idea, I have never been in more misery in my life to try and make myself happy.
Yeah, because there's always something else. There's always something else. Once I achieve this, then I can be happy. Or once I get here, then I'll be happy.
It keeps on going, man.
No, forever. Yeah.
It keeps on going, and you're like, okay, so when am I going to be happy? Not trying to be happy, but actually be happy.
Yeah.
And one of the ways that helped me out a lot was acceptance, or some call it forgiveness also. To actually admit that, let's introduce the idea that maybe everything is perfect right now. And I wouldn't say in the terms of, okay, there are people who are, as what you work with also, having the thoughts of making suicide and so forth. In a sense, it's perfect because all human beings can choose their own experience and they're allowed to do it. But I also see, okay, but if it calls something in you, right, that, hey, there's something I can give of myself in that situation, well, then we can rest in, okay, so you're bringing your part, in a sense. And I wanted to see what part am I bringing to life in our society. And in Denmark, the society, for me, what I've experienced it to be is everyone is just trying to make it go around. And no one trusts that it will naturally go around.
Yeah.
There are actually human beings on a planet which is supporting us. She's not trying to kill us. She's not trying to tell us, anything except for, hey, embrace what is here and you shall be given more of it.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. And it's a great attitude to have. Yeah.
It's a shift in mindset. And what I was scared of when I started relaxing into the moment, which is just usually 10 minutes or so, and then boom, something extraordinary happens, or something that asks of me of my attention, which I want to bring it to. It's one of the most difficult things for people in the Western society. It's like, oh, if I don't do it, then nothing is going to happen. And that fear is just not of my resonance. That fear seems to me like an outdated idea.
Yeah. And I know you don't like putting ideas and concepts on it, but it sounds like to me some of the things that some of the things that we talk about here in the space that I work in is like, it doesn't matter what what you think, what you do, or how you behave, or what happens. The sun's going to come up tomorrow, whether you want it to come up or whether you don't want it to come up, whether you want light at 4 o'clock in the morning. If the sun's going to come up at 4:56, doesn't matter how much you want it to come up at 4:44 or whatever. It's
not going to happen, man.
Yeah, it's going to come up
exactly at that time.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. So, and there's nothing you can do. So it just sounds like just that acceptance of things are happening, and regardless of where you are, so you may as well embrace yourself, be happy now, and just embrace it. It sounds like that's a really good philosophy. So I was just curious to hear, like, you're obviously at a very high state of awareness in your life. The journey to get to that stage has been difficult for you, or is it something that's been going on for years?
So before, just a warning, a little disclaimer for people listening on here, and I love everyone who's listening and who might find this interesting.
Yeah.
Back in my day, I chose a pathway of my passion. That was playing poker for me back in the day. Playing poker, I could be my own boss. I could choose my own time, when I wanted to work, when I didn't want it to work. The money was quite easy. So I got attached to the money suddenly. I was like creating an idea in my mind. Instead of using my passion, what I loved about the poker, and having faith that following that curiosity would bring me more joy, because that is a state of joy, right? Passion is a state of joy. And we are actually supported in it. I see that now. But back then, I put down the image that, okay, I can make $10,000 a month easily. Good. Then I can live here. Then I can do it like this. Then that will be interesting. So I just got to maintain that. How much more work would that require according to my current knowledge? Okay, this. Yeah. In the moment I decided to do it like that, this linear approach of thinking, instead of an abstract trusting the way life flows, it was taken away from me. I earned nothing. It was like, boom, didn't matter how well I improved or tried or anything. Life just told me, that image you put in instead of your happiness, that's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Not for me, not for the purpose that I'm here, at least.
Yeah.
So I had to come to a point where everything was failing, and I gave up everything. I gave up everything, just nothing. Very angry also. And so the process for me was to lose my identity as a picture.
Yeah.
Nothing was perfect. I have a daughter. She lives with her mom on Iceland. I haven't seen her for 5 years. She barely wants to talk with me, but once in a while we do. She loves the gifts.
Yeah.
We are doing what we can to build a relationship as it is, right? So, but back then, everything seemed to fail for me. And I was taught the lesson of forgiveness, which is basically to reverse the idea that anything is against me or anyone. No one is better or worse than I am. And I am not better or worse than anyone else. We all simply different in our experience of ourselves here and now. And I started from scratch. And that also was a part of me wanting to explore our ability to bring life to a vision. Yeah, and I had a vision where I saw a community and human beings living in harmony with each other, with an understanding how we can support each other in embracing that unique passion. Like you have your podcast, you do your things also for people who deals with the mental anxiety of suicide and such in Australia, right? And that's your passion in the moment. And how we so can support each other to bring more of that essence that we individually see we can contribute with, but as a community. Yeah. And I didn't experience that's what we're doing in the Western society. It seems more like we want everyone to be the fucking same, and they need the same skills, need the same, instead of exploring the uniqueness and be a foundation for that. So I wanted to shift that mindset.
Yeah.
And in order to do so, I had to learn a certain amount of skill sets.
Yeah.
And one of them was to see myself as completely worthy of being accepted as living on the streets.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I had identified my self-worth in the things that I got, you know, and my good looks, and my training also went away. So I looked like, you know, in that manner, right? So all this identity I had of myself, image-wise, was kind of taken away from me, or put in a state that I didn't like.
Yeah.
And then I found out that, hey, what is really here? I can choose to be joyful and happy regardless of anything.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah, that was actually great choice. That I was very happy with. I also learned to pray.
Yeah.
Praying not to some kind of someone, not someone else, but praying to my own unconscious state. For something that I knew that I had, but wasn't quite sure yet how to bring into the here and now. The prayer for me is the ability to put into words, or somehow in your state of being, emotions, words, thoughts, whatever it is you have to work with, that which you want to see more of, or I want to see more of, or experience here and now. Not that I'm lacking it, but it's just that's my, let's say, just to give an example, let's say you suddenly feel very scared and you want to feel peaceful instead. And whatever situation you're in, then you can pray and say, okay, this situation here, I don't know how to handle it first. One has to admit to the ego. That's the acceptance, right? Because if you knew how to handle it, why are you scared of it? That doesn't make any sense, right? If you know. So when you feel the fear, and I had difficulty of dealing with fear back then, I was like, oh, you just do it, you know? Just do it. But I had to admit, okay, I don't know how to handle it. And then already there, a little acceptance starts. Okay, no. What is the worst thing that can happen? That I die. Okay, well, death is okay. Then this won't continue anyways. So, okay, so death is okay. Okay. And in that silence there, and that letting go, and that it's a silence that pops up for me. When that silence pops up, and I allow myself to rest in the silence, whatever I need will show itself. And that surrender, it will show itself.
And I heard I heard the word ego. It's hard for men, I suppose, in particular, to acknowledge that you're feeling fear, or you're having these feelings of negativity or insecurities or whatever. So losing that ego, it seems to me, was a big part of your journey as well, it sounds like.
Yes, but also to embrace that standing for my values, regardless of even people feeling the arrogance of it sometimes, right? When you state, hey, this is how I see it. We are powerful beings. Yogi is this, it's not that, and also see that impact, because I have accepted my ego. But those who have not accepted it will feel threatened, you know, by the volume of energy that comes with it.
That's
they
amazing.
But ego is not wrong with it. It's just, you know, one way of having a relationship with something. Only thing one will discover with the ego is it doesn't exist. You're having a relationship with an illusion, which will crumble at one point or another. Okay. And there's nothing sad about it. It was just, you know, whatever you made of it, it's all you made up. But it doesn't work anymore. If the ego is not really bringing joy to your life, well, fire it. You are fired.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. And that's amazing. And I had another guest say something similar too, regardless of what's going on around him and trials and tribulations. And I know there's wars and all sorts of terrible things going on in
Oh,
the
there
world.
is. Yeah, I have a wall right here with a bum, you know?
Yeah. But just choosing to be happy, and that's great. Don't wait for something to happen before you're happy, or wait for you to finish this and then you'll be happy, or find the perfect partner to be happy, or you're just choosing to be happy all the time. And that's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not that it's not a challenge. I get my challenges, right?
Yeah.
Plenty of them. My business, the way it's flowing right now, I have just had, actually, before you and I talked, an interview with one who's going to help with some of the online part. And you mentioned there might be something that we put some links down here and so forth with promoting. And I just got into the cut the stress, keep the success idea, which it seems like our society would like to embrace more of.
I love it. I was looking at that. Yeah, cut the stress and keep the success. That's amazing. Yeah, that's a great motto. I love that. That's good.
Yeah, so that resonated with me, and I'm like, hey, I love to be of service. I see when I bring something to the world, I'm happy here as I am.
Yeah.
But when I share joy with you, Trevor, my happiness is like twice.
Yeah.
And if we're good at it and we meet up again, it might be even 10 times. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I can see the joy just even when you're explaining, when you're talking about it, and that I can see the happiness, and it's like literally oozing out of you, and I can feel that even through the monitors. I can feel it. I can feel the energy through there. So the cosmic energy is certainly working, and it's amazing to hear your story and hear you talk about staying present and your essence and the curiosity, about the world that you're showing, and the joy and that sort of joy and peace. And it's been a real pleasure listening to you talk. Have you got any final messages for some of the listeners out there trying to discover their identity, or any final words that you think might help before we wrap things up?
So it's all individual, right? So first part is to completely, utterly accept whatever has happened so far has been exactly what was needed for you. Yeah. And it's always a possibility for us to bring more of the essence that we are. It's never something to run away from. It's never something that we need to, in a quote unquote, change. It will change. Even your past will change when you bring acceptance to it. Okay, so that embrace of what is here and now, not the idea of it, but simply notice what's here and now. Take that moment in your life and start to embrace it as best as you can. And of course, there's things we need to do, allow those things to happen, do those things, and then just give you that time. I'm here, and it's okay.
Yeah, that's amazing. And yeah, it's just fascinating listening to you talk. And I guess, someone like me could listen to this sort of stuff all day. And I appreciate you spending the time and sharing some of your wisdom with it. It's a real pleasure. And I feel you could fit right into the Australian culture pretty well. I think you pretty much could be an Aussie there in Denmark. So it's been a real pleasure talking to you. And
it's on the opposite side of the earth. Yeah, we're on the opposite.
Yeah, but yeah, I feel that I think we joked about Mary. I think it is the Queen there. There's a reason why there's a synergy there. I feel that you could become an honourable Australian just with your philosophies and your easygoingness there. And I really appreciate you spending the time and having this conversation with us. And I feel that there's a fair bit of value in what you say, and some of the viewers should take some messages out of it, and it should be quite helpful. So thank you very much for joining us, Brian. And perhaps in the future we can catch up again and continue sharing the joy.
I'd love to hear your journey also. So we can stay in touch.
Yeah. No worries. Thanks very much, Brian. Have a good one, mate.
Have a great one.